Welcome, everyone, to the L7C podcast, college football edition. Today is the game recap. We're recording this on a Tuesday, so by the time you listen to this, you've already known what happened in the game. So we're going to talk about our perspective, what we saw, what went wrong for Ohio State. Spoiler, Ohio State loses the game for the third straight year. And what's the future looking like now with the 12-team playoff, things of that nature. So we have the captain of the L7C, Byron Mitchell, with us. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm here.
Fair enough. We got the executive producer of the L7C, the NFL and gambling expert, Mr. Justin Ackendale. How are you doing today, sir?
Today, I'm doing fine. Fucking Saturday, not so much, but like the captain said, we are here.
And then he said he'd be here literally 1 year ago on this day. And he is here, the Dragon Ball expert, Mr. Mitch Oso. How are you doing today, sir?
Oh, well, Justin said it wisely. So we're here. We're here. Way better today than Saturday. So, yeah, we're trucking along. But other than that, aside from that, doing pretty good.
We're actually, because I want to do most of the stuff on the game. So we're going to go a little backwards. Because I don't want this stuff to be at the end. This week is conference championship week. So we're actually going to give some of our predictions right now so we can get this out of the way. The biggest one, probably Georgia versus Alabama. SEC championship game. This opened at 5 points. Alabama is the underdog. Justin, who would you take in this one?
Whew. I want to take Alabama so bad, but like I said last week, I'm done fucking with Georgia. Like, I'm done picking against them. I don't know, I still might bet against them now, but yeah, I'm done messing with Georgia. Georgia's going to be Georgia's going to be SEC champs. Georgia's going to be the number one seed in the playoff.
Mitch, who would you take, Georgia or Alabama?
Well, you know what? I gotta stick with our parlay picks. You know, the conference championship parlay that we did at the beginning of the year. You know, I picked Alabama to win, so I guess I'm just going to stick to my gut and just go pick Alabama to win. I got to get somebody right. Since USC and Ohio State are not winning it. So
Byron,
Alabama is really hot right now. They're peaking at the time that they need to peak, but Georgia's just too powerful. So I gotta go with Georgia.
Yeah, I'm going with Georgia as well. And quickly, Justin, as a former player, how mad would you be if you lost the game like Auburn lost on the 4th and 31?
They should be ashamed of themselves, man, because they did everything they could to win that game. They should have won that game. Like,
yes.
at that point in the game, like, you got these niggas backed up, 4th and goal from like the 27-yard line, and then Milroe. See, that's why I fuck with Milroe, man. He threw that dime. Yeah, but that's a sick way to go out. Like, that's, but it's happened before with Auburn. You know, the kick six, like, that game is weird. Like, that game, weird shit happens, especially when that game is played at Auburn.
Mitch, going to start this off with you because we always joke how this is your team. Texas in the Big 12 title game versus Oklahoma State, looking like an 11-point. It opened at 11.5. Texas is the favorite. Who you got in this?
Go Texas. Go Longhorns, baby. They're back. You know, they're going to be so damn good. They're going they'll let me down, but you know, sometimes you just got to stick to who you are. Just go Longhorns. Go Texas. Be true to yourself if they don't want to be true to themselves. So,
fair enough. Byron,
I don't trust Oklahoma State anymore, so I'm picking Texas.
Yeah.
Justin.
I'm going with Texas here.
Fair enough. I am going with Texas as well. ACC title game, undefeated Florida State versus 10-2 Louisville, open to 6.5. Currently, Florida State's a 6.5 point favorite. Justin, who do you have in this one? Because obviously you've been on Florida State since the jump.
I have, just for entertainment value, I'm going to go with Louisville because that's the only way Ohio State can, backdoor into this shit. Florida State ain't sitting here undefeated. And some other ones got to lose to. So, yeah, I'm going to Louisville just for entertainment factor. Sick that, what you call it, that Jordan Travis broke his leg, though, or I'll be going Florida State here.
Byron.
I'm going to pick Florida State because they had that come from behind victory against Florida. So I'm picking Florida State to win this with their backup quarterback.
Mitch.
So going back to my logic with the parlay, I picked Florida State to win the ACC, so I'm going to pick them. And it also doesn't help that, Louisville, they didn't take the game seriously, probably against Kentucky last week. But, I mean, kind of meaningless game in terms of.
No, they did. Kentucky just whooped their ass.
Yep, that they did. And
rivalry games, man.
And that's the thing,
Yeah.
that it's a rivalry game. Florida State, I mean, did they have to really play? Well, okay, they did. What am I? I'm not even going to say it. Florida State showed up against Florida.
That's true.
They're still playing for a college football national title.
Yeah, playoff. Yep.
Yeah, playoff.
I was about to say something stupid there, but
man, this game right here, we don't get these often.
This is the main event, man.
It really is 8 p.m.
On Friday. Actually, it's starting off the goddamn show.
Yeah, so we're gonna know a lot.
Be locked in.
Number 5, Oregon. Number 3, Washington. These were the early spread was Oregon being favored by 9.5 points. Byron, this is the rematch of the regular season game that came down to the wire. Penix, Nix. This is the last. Heisman voting has just opened. This could sway some voters. Who you got in this?
What, is Oregon still 9.5 point favorites?
Some places. Yep, they're still 9.5.
I feel that's low-key disrespectful to Washington. I'm picking Washington because I love Michael Penix Jr. So it's hard to beat the same team twice. So Oregon probably is going to win, but I'm going with Washington.
Justin?
I won't tell you guys to take the over because I fucked up last time Washington USC and not taking the over, and I know the over hit in the last Oregon Washington game. So I'm gonna tell you I'll do that right now, but I gotta go Oregon here. Oregon has been the better team since that game. They've been pretty damn dominant since that Washington loss, and Bo Nix has been clicking on all cylinders too. He's probably going to win the Heisman. I was trying to cape up for Jaden Daniels last week, but he did not go off the way I needed him to, and for him to win the Heisman last week, so that's Bo Nix's award to lose right now, and Oregon's going to win the game.
Mitch?
Picking Oregon, just everyone else is picking Oregon. Reasoning though is that when Washington beat them, it was only a 3-point game. It was at Washington, and it's just the season's progressed. Oregon just looks so dominant, and I think since it's it's at the Rose Bowl, so just it's not home field, so right then and there.
The game in Vegas.
Oh, the game's in Vegas. My apologies. Yeah. I don't know shit. But yeah, it's just I know it's not in Washington, so
Byron's the only one who took Washington.
Yes, sir.
Man, for Mitch's thing, like I picked Washington in August to win the Pac-12. I just don't see them winning this game. I don't know about this whole 9.5 points.
You might as well stick with them at this point. You picked them already.
I was going to say you got courage to go against your parlay, man.
Nah, man. After what
you've been watching this show all goddamn year. You know what the fuck going on with Oregon?
Washington has just been going one way. Oregon's going another way. Bo Nix is there. Washington's had too many close calls. I just feel like, and Oregon, if Lanning comes out with a speech like he did against Colorado, it's curtains.
Oh yeah,
it's curtains. Yeah. But 9.5, that's disrespectful. That is.
It's a lot of points to be given Michael Penix Jr.
Next one, obviously, we'll get into Big 10 championship game.
Oh my God, Michigan won't whoop the dog shit out of them. That's my pick.
22.5 point favorite Michigan. I think we're all gonna go Michigan. The real question is this game, is Iowa going to keep the historic pace and they're going to keep the under?
It depends if Michigan wants that over the hit or not. Because Michigan can get 35 by themselves.
Yeah.
So that's all on Michigan. I don't know how Michigan about to feel, so I'm staying away from that one.
Mitch?
What did you say the over-under was?
35.5.
35.5.
And the spread's at 22.5?
Mm-hmm.
Jesus Christ. Oh man. I'd have to take Michigan's spread, but I don't know if I'd take the over. I'd take the under and the Michigan spread. I think Michigan would shut them out. Like,
Yeah,
but
because right now they have crazy odds for
24-0.
Iowa over under 1 touchdown each half.
That's crazy.
Wait, repeat that.
They have like in DraftKings is like, is Iowa going to score more than 1 touchdown each half?
No. No. I don't know. I don't know if they'll score a touchdown in both halves now. The 14 points from touchdowns, and they can't score against like Rutgers or Maryland. I forget which team it was, but nope.
The total is entirely dependent upon Michigan if they want to score 35 points or not. And before the OSU game, they were not trying to score, especially in that goddamn Penn State game.
Michigan
they don't have to with those niggas.
Michigan would have to collapse, and like Iowa would have to get
an offense.
Iowa can't win this game.
They'd have to get lucky, and they'd have to just get an interception return or a punt return, or just something. Like it's just not happening on offense.
Byron, do you have anything you want to add?
Well, I was lucky they made it as far as they did. I did not expect them to have a 10-win season with.
Bro, they do this shit all the time, Byron. I'm trying to tell you, man. I don't know how they win.
You know what's funny? They are one bad referee call away
from being undefeated.
11-0, yeah.
Yeah, and then they would have been fighting for a playoff spot in this win.
Oh, no one would have put them in the playoff. Even if they went undefeated, no one would put them in. Iowa won the 4 best teams. Consistent program. I was just watching a video before we got on this about mediocre college football teams. And you would think Iowa over the past 6 years has been mediocre, which is like 6 wins. No, these motherfuckers average 8 wins a year. 8.
No. And then this year, 10-2.
I know in the group chat,
a few years ago, they were like 11-1 or some crazy shit.
Yeah, they were ranked 2 years ago. They were ranked number 2 in the country. I think it was Mark that shared it in our group.
A random time, yep.
2021, I think. Yeah, they were ranked 2nd in the country. It was wild. Now, I have a funny question in regards to Iowa. Mm-hmm. So they have 9 wins on the season.
No, they have 10-2.
10? How many what is their points per game at? What's their average? Is that less than their
give me a minute.
Total wins?
Oh, jeez.
Do they have more?
So is their points per game less than 12? That's
like I want to know. I want to know if that's like.
No, their points per game is 18.
Okay, so close. Okay,
well, that's pretty wild that you have 10 wins, and if you double that, I don't know. I'm making up stats now.
It's wild. It's wild. Oh yeah, but I agree with everyone. I think
this. But none of you guys knew like the answer to that question like immediately. You know what I mean?
No.
You could say that to anyone. Yeah, their points per game is more than just
how many games they've won.
I would also say just real quick. This is just a fun one. Maybe the 2 Ohio teams. Toledo is 11-1, playing against Miami, Ohio. Toledo's a 9-point favorite. I might have to dabble in that, Justin.
Are they ranked?
Toledo's 23 in the country.
Oh
wow.
Let me pull the rankings. They might fuck around and getting a New Year's Six Bowl if they win that game. Hold on.
Currently on Betting Pros, they got them 23 in the country.
Let's see, group of 5. They're not ranked in the CFP. It's over.
Oh, they're only ranked today.
Yeah, they're not ranked in the CFP. Tulane will be that group of 5 team that gets that spot. 22.
That is tragic, but that was just interesting with the Ohio team. But all right, let's get to it. Byron, go ahead with the normal stats, and then let's talk about it.
All right, we lost 30-24. McCord, 18 out of 30, 271 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. One of them was a pick 6, and one of them was literally on the last play of the game. Travion Henderson, 19 for 60 yards, a touchdown. Chip Trainum, 6 for 37. Marvin Harrison Jr. had another Marvin Harrison Jr. type game, 5 for 118 yards, 1 touchdown. Emeka Buka, 3 for 24 and 1 touchdown. Julian Fleming had 3 for 59, no touchdowns. We had 1 fumble. We also didn't really play good defense. We only had 1 sack, no turnovers, no interceptions, no forced fumbles. That was the story of Ohio State this weekend.
Thank you, Byron. So this is the 3rd straight loss for Ohio State. First time since they lost 95, 96, 97. John Cooper was the coach then, obviously, because he's here, and he said this was going to happen a year ago. Mitchell, what do you want to say? Because you said this a year ago that this would happen, and here we are. What are your initial thoughts on what happened to Ohio State?
I don't know. They just don't have. I don't know if they forgot what this rivalry is all about. I don't know if that one year that we've beat their ass for like 18 out of the past 20 years, and then COVID happened, and we didn't play them for 1 year, and then it just seems like everyone just kind of forgot what the purpose of showing up for the game is all about. And last year I blamed it all on Day, and that he's I don't think that he truly understands like the nature of this rivalry. We can debate that if we would like, or maybe if I'm full of shit. Maybe it's Kyle McCord, for example, this year, who had an interview with 11 Warriors, and at the 3-minute mark he says that this is just another game. Well, Kyle, respectfully, you better hope that you misspoke, because this is not just another game. This is not like any other game. This is the game. And I don't know, there's just a whole bunch of the finger can be pointed around everywhere. And from my rant last year, I could point it right at Day. It's just, in a weird way, I just think there's more fingers that need to be pointed. So,
Justin, last year at this time, in your own affectionate way, you said Ohio State needed to stop playing like bitches. Like they were too soft. They needed to get tougher, yada, yada. The old boy who made the interception to win the game straight up said Ohio State ain't tough. They're fake tough.
Yep.
Justin, from your thing from last year, do you feel like they got tougher? And if they did, then what the hell happened?
You think Lou Holtz was right?
Well, I'll get to Lou Holtz after I get to Justin's take.
Well, that was a question for Justin, since I'm just feeding into that question. So.
I mean, they were definitely tougher than they were last year. I mean, it was only a 6-point game. They went up there and it showed up. Like, they didn't completely lay an egg. But hey, I mean, I just don't think they were which falls on Ryan Day. I don't think they were aggressive enough. There was one drive in the first quarter where they could have went for it on 4th down. It was 4th and short, good side of the 50-yard line, and they punt the ball. And then at the end of the half, with like a minute 15 left on 3rd down, and then Ryan Day drains the clock out and then runs out to kick the field goal. Why didn't you get more yards there? Mm-hmm. I didn't really understand that decision. I just don't think Ohio State was aggressive enough. I mean, Michigan was 3 for 12 on 3rd downs, with 3 for 3 on 4th downs. They were going 4th downs. They were being aggressive. They were, staying true to their philosophy. I mean, they ran the ball. They ran the ball 39 times. They were only getting 4 yards a carry, but yeah, it's just tough. It was just tough. I think those two decisions is what really lost Ohio State the game. I thought Kyle McCord played well. The first interception was inexcusable. It led to a Michigan touchdown. If he doesn't throw that, Ohio State probably wins this. And then the one at the end of the game, the rush was just on him too quick, and they hit him while he was throwing, and he threw a pick. And you try and win the game at that point. I don't really fault them there, but yeah, I just think OSU wasn't aggressive enough. It wasn't as aggressive as Michigan was in this game, and that's why they lost.
They were playing on their heels. Michigan just they played highly aggressive, and sometimes take Brandon Stanley for example. The guy goes for on fourth down every single second, and it's probably a little overkill with how often he does it, but at least the man's aggressive. He doesn't. Obviously, he's about to get fired. I don't know if you guys saw the report today that he's about to get fired.
Yeah,
but but at least you can say that man is just going to go for it. He's going to play aggressive, and I don't know. I'd rather have someone be too aggressive than be too conservative. So,
speaking of conservative play, because he's known here as Mr. Always Take the Points. Byron, what did you think went wrong?
Like Justin said, I think we weren't as aggressive as we should have been. This is the game. This is your last chance to make it into the college football playoffs. If you lose this game, you either have to hope for chaos or you're sitting on the sidelines watching everyone else go to the college football playoffs like we did last year. Thankfully, Utah beat USC, or we would have missed out on the college football playoffs because we lost to Michigan last year. I just think we weren't aggressive, especially on defense. We only got 1 sack. We didn't get any turnovers. I think we got a couple of pressures on JJ McCarthy, but he's so mobile. He's just scrambling and finding open receivers. Their tight end, I forget his name. Colston Loveland had 5 receptions for 88 yards. He was just over the field catching balls. His longest was 34. He had a 34-yard reception. We couldn't do anything with him. And of course, Blake Corum is going to be Blake Corum. 22 carries for 88 yards and 2 touchdowns. But we weren't being aggressive. There, one point they shot. They looked at the box and Jim Knowles was just sitting up there looking too comfortable. I'm like, what are you doing, bro? Michigan is literally moving the ball, getting every 4th down conversion. We're not stopping on 4th down. You're just looking too comfortable. We weren't playing as aggressive as I thought we would have, especially after our ass kicking last year.
Byron, what was the defining play of the game for you?
Probably that pick. That first pick gave Michigan some momentum where Blake Corum was able to run it on 4th down and get a touchdown. And then I don't know what. I think Michigan opening the second half with those trick plays, they brought in their backup quarterback who ran it it was 20 yards. I think that's when we lost momentum for some reason. We just stopped being aggressive in that second half. We literally didn't have a defense.
Justin, what was the defining play for you?
I think it was that fucking dime that JJ McCarthy threw the dime that McCarthy threw to Roman Wilson in the second quarter that could have been an interception if Burke got there just a little sooner, but yeah, I think that one. McCarthy, he was making throws. He only passed it 20 times and not for that many yards, but it was all his completions were impactful, chain movers, that type of thing. He was very efficient with the ball, and that just complemented the run game, his runs, just the inability, that play, the fine, but just the inability to stop McCarthy from getting positive plays. Everything he was doing was positive. It was very little negative plays from him.
Mitch, what about you? What was the defining play for you?
Mine might be a little more cliche, but it's just the last offensive play for the Buckeyes. Just the interception, because even with the drive that drained the clock, 6-7 minutes off the clock there at the end. I mean, I forget how much time that we had, but we drove the ball down the field real quick, got past the 50 while we were on the 40. I forget. Wasn't there a penalty the play before that converted to a first down, or maybe just?
No, it was a fumble.
It was a fumble that we.
The Julian Fleming fumble that we picked up.
Yep, and it was just even with all the mistakes, even with being at the house and everything that we've discussed, what Justin said earlier, it was a competitive game. It was only a a one-score game. It wasn't like last year when losing 45 to 23 in the shoe. It's like just
and the piggyback off that, if Ohio State could have stopped them on that last drive, just took how long was that shit, man? They had the ball for so long. How long was it? It was a goddamn 7-minute drive. If they could, if they could have got stopped and not let them get that field goal and had some timeouts left, we talking about this game going to overtime because I know Ohio State would have got in field goal range.
Justin, to piggyback off of that, it goes back to Byron's thing because, like you said, that was the fourth quarter, and you're letting them drive 7 minutes. The defense was not aggressive at any means during that drive.
They're just running the ball. Like, you've got to do better at that point. You know what's coming.
Mm-hmm. And I would also say, too, Justin, to that, for my defining moment of it's the whole second half, because even though they had few possessions, Michigan scored on every possession in the second half. Every single one.
That defense strangled that Michigan run offense in the first half.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Justin, you had said they ran like 39 times or whatever, and how many? Byron, you probably have the stats. What did they end the game in rushing yards?
It was like 189, but McCarthy had some scrambles too.
I almost want to say they had like
156.
100.
Only 156.
Yeah, they only averaged 3.9 a carry.
OSU outgained them too. Outgained them.
I think if you're able to see how many of the rushing yards were in the second half, I think they had over 100 of that. They might have had 110 yards in the second half.
They definitely did. Yeah, definitely had more in the second half.
They got out of first gear and they got all the way to 6 right at halftime. It was, the thing too is that the defense even had a second to recuperate on that drive too because of I forget the individual who got injured. You remember? And so they had time to recuperate, catch their breath, calm the nerves, figure out a game plan. And I think Michigan scored that.
They didn't, because they scored on every possession in the second half.
Well, I meant it was only like a play or two after that.
Yep.
So
it was a Blake Corum show.
Yep. It was weird, sloppy.
With Michigan and Harbaugh, obviously that's the other flaming of this thing for people who didn't watch this game, which I don't know how you didn't. Jim Harbaugh, this was the last game on a suspension. He wasn't even coaching this game in person. What do you think this does for him in Michigan? Because obviously he started 0-5 against Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
Now is rattled. I don't know if this even counts. I think this counts as his record, but rattled off.
No, it don't. He didn't coach that game.
Doesn't count to him?
No.
Yeah, I don't believe
so. Yeah, because it was.
Yeah,
it's just like that year Ryan Day.
Fair enough.
Coach for those.
So the
games.
university has won 3 straight.
Actually, hold on 1 second. I think so. I have a screenshot here.
Doesn't count as a win for Harbaugh as his coaching record. So
yeah, well, you see,
keep it at that.
Fox had a graphic up on here saying that Ryan Day is 1-3 against Michigan, meaning that. Now, did he coach? Was he an interim coach against Michigan the year in which Meyer got suspended at the end of the year? Did he get?
No, Meyer got suspended at the beginning of the year because he coached the TCU game.
Oh, I was thinking Meyer got suspended.
No, it was at the.
For some reason, I'm bass backwards then. So,
yeah, but no. So the university has rattled off 3 straight. It was still Harbaugh's team, and just that's why I was asking what's wrong with Ohio, because Harbaugh missed 6 games technically this year. 3 at the beginning, 3 at the end. Didn't matter. Moore coached against the only 2 games that matter for Michigan, Penn State and Ohio State, and he won both. So now, depending on what happens with the school, if Harbaugh leaves, we inadvertently just gave Michigan their next head coach.
Yep.
Who was interim coach for them earlier in the year? Same dude.
No, they were like rotating because the teams were weak.
Wow, that's funny.
But like these last 3, it was just strictly Moore. So we just gave them their next coach.
So you want to know the crazy wild fact? Moore has just as many top wins as, and I'm saying head coach. You can say like acting head coach. Mm-hmm. He has as many top 5 wins versus opponents than what Day has. The same amount. Day only has he has a record of 1-6 against college football playoff top 5 opponents, and Moore in 3 games has just as many wins as he does.
I mean, in 3 games, Moore has already the same amount of wins that James Franklin has against Ohio State in the past 10 years.
Well,
sure. 1.
Yep, 1. Which that's still crazy.
Now, okay.
No, I was just gonna say before because I want to say Ryan and Colin because I do have something I need to say about Colin because Mitch brought it up. But where does Ohio State go from here? Obviously, right now, copium people going from let's hope for some chaos. I really don't care because if they go to the playoffs, like Byron said, they couldn't cover the tight end. What the hell are you about to do against Brock Bowers?
Absolutely nothing.
So you don't want that smoke again. But where does this program go from here? Because Ryan Day, and we're going to talk more about him later. They have had wide receiver rooms: Marvin Harrison, Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson, Jackson Smith and Jigma, Julian Fleming, Abuka. They've had all these players: C.J. Stroud, now McCord, JTT. This one of the most talented classes I've ever seen. Did not win a game against Michigan.
You can take the senior class because of COVID, and they didn't play against Michigan. So when they were freshmen, I mean, if you're not a 5th-year senior at Ohio State of any sort, you have never beat Michigan.
And this has not happened in a very, very long time. So we're about to lose. We're going to lose Marvin. We're probably going to lose Abuka. Probably losing JTT, Eichenberg. Where do they go from here? Because the conference is only getting stronger. You might not even be guaranteed a Big Ten championship, a final whatever next year.
I mean, next year doesn't matter as long as you're top 12. I'm just saying.
No, I mean,
will they be I guess with that case, because the way they have it, the top 4 will get buys. And the conference champions would get it, and then the next are at-large picks. But I mean, Byron, what if you don't get a chance to be in the top 12?
That's your own damn fault.
I mean, we got Oregon coming, we got Washington coming. It's not going to be a cakewalk anymore.
Yeah, you literally got the 2 teams competing for the Pac-12 championship rolling in next year.
Bingo.
And then. Say what you want. I mean, USC is, they're coming too, and if they figure it out, I mean, it's a lot of people. I mean, a lot of people coming. In terms of what I sat here last year, and I was flaming hot, pissed, screaming, "Fire Day, Fire Day!" Any day now, Fire Day. Unlike last year, this year though, I feel like I was trying to see what other maybe OSU alumni, former players, coaches, or whatnot, what they were saying.
They're pissed. They're pissed.
Well, for example, if you take what Urban Meyer said, since he did post game for that, he says that Ryan Day is on the hot seat in terms of the fans, but in terms of the administration, he's not on any hot seat. I mean, you guys mentioned it last year and how many games he has won. In terms of his percentage, he's, we're talking up north of 85% win rate. So, I mean, people would enjoy that. But however, whenever you go 1-3 against Michigan and 1-3 in the playoff, and you just struggle. It's just, I mean, I got names of a couple replacements, but it's maybe now is not the time for that. I don't know.
Byron, Justin, what are your thoughts on Day? Because I actually want to go last on this one.
So they need to figure out how to beat Michigan. Point blank, period. Should Ohio State fire him? No. Especially not next year. Because, yes, there's more people coming to the Big Ten. The only really difference to the schedule next year is going to Oregon, which Ohio State plays a good team like that every single year. So it's not really a difference. I mean, I'm looking at the schedule now. I mean, you got Nebraska on here, at Penn State, Purdue, Northwestern, Indiana, Michigan, of course. So as long as because he has proven that like he can beat trash can teams. He can get you 10 wins in a sleep. So if he's getting 10 wins in a bigger Big Ten, he's going to be top 12. He's going to be top 12 and he's going to be getting to that expanded playoff. So I personally think it's not the time to think about firing Ryan Day. I mean, fucking Cooper was he was a coach for over a decade and only beat Michigan what 2 years. Yeah, only beat Michigan 2 times. So I think you gotta give him a little bit more run rate to figure this shit out. Especially with the new landscape of college football coming. I wouldn't want to go into this uncharted water with a new coach right now. And then, like I always say, who the hell are you going to get at this moment right in time right now? Like, who would be your top candidate?
Okay. So, Byron. Wait, hold on, Mitch. I want to get Byron's take in before we talk about potential replacement people.
I agree with Justin. I don't think he should be fired because he has a 56-7 win record in his head coaching career at Ohio State. So it would be hard, maybe not hard, but tough to replace someone like that, especially with the new teams coming in, expanded playoffs next year. So I think he definitely is probably on the hot seat, whether Ohio State University wants to come out and say it. But he's got to learn how to be aggressive against the big teams. Like he was aggressive against Georgia last year. I don't know why he wasn't aggressive against Michigan the last 3 years. But in big games, I feel like he loses his aggressiveness.
Before we get to Mitch's replacement, the potential people that he has written down. So I've thought about this Ryan Day stuff. Obviously, the 56-7 record, 40-0 against everyone in the Big Ten besides Michigan. The problem is it's Michigan. That is the problem. It goes back to what Mitch was flaming hot, pissed about last year. About obviously he's been in it and he's been losing and he sees what it's like walking around losing to Michigan. But the previous two head coaches fully understood this rivalry because they're from here. Urban understood it. Urban had a person, his only job was to watch Michigan tape in the film room all year. Like they planned for it all year. Trussell, when he first started at the basketball game, said you're going to be proud of these guys, especially 310 days now from Michigan. It doesn't help that the two coaches before him are both national champions, both won at Ohio State, and both had stellar records against Michigan. Should he be fired? No. Is he on the hot seat? Absolutely. I believe he's on the hot seat now because he won't get fired this year just because Gene Smith is leaving. Gene Smith's last thing is not going to fire. He's not going to fire Ryan Day in his last couple days of office. Lead
the new guy there to find a new coach. That's crazy.
Yeah, he won't do that. Now the new athletic director, I don't know, but like you said,
you know who it is. Who's the new AD?
Oh, we don't even have one yet.
Oh,
so we still have to do that. Now, when the board of trustees have enough, his ass is gone. That's where if the board of trustees are like, yeah, we can't do this shit because the past couple, it's the fact it's almost kind of becoming Cooper-ish because Cooper wasn't from here. I'm not saying you have to be from here, but Day wasn't. And they don't fully understand it until you start getting your ass whooped and everyone in the city treats you different. And because we talk about like Cooper went the 10 years or whatever, obviously the game has changed. Justin, we talk about it in the NFL. If Peyton Manning came in the league right now and started the same way he did last year, his ass would be working at Wendy's. They don't give people any time anymore. And John Cooper, and to go back to Mitch's thing, because I did listen to it from last year, John Cooper has the second most wins in Ohio State history, and we got rid of his ass because he couldn't beat Michigan, period. And the reason we got rid of
12 damn years, though.
Yeah, well, Ryan's about to be close to 10, too. He's, halfway?
I think next year will be 6.
So he's almost halfway, and the thing that pissed the fans most is if you look back at some of those OSU teams, those were national contenders. Like Eddie, all of them boys And we couldn't beat Michigan, and it denied us of everything. And that's what's happening now. CJ Stroud didn't win the Heisman last year because we couldn't beat Michigan. Marvin Harrison Jr. might not fucking get invited now because even though we had that one touchdown in the yards, it's like it wasn't impactful.
Yeah.
They'll forget about him after conference weekend.
Absolutely. We're getting denied. It's the big Urban Meyer said in the pregame when even though I know this was not in there, but who knows, when he signed the OSU contract, win every game. No, the first thing is win the rivalry game, win every other game, period. And we haven't done that, and that's denying us national championships. You're telling me we've had the greatest wide receiver room of all time? Our quarterback from last year is an MVP candidate, and we can't beat Michigan.
Yeah. That Michigan game being at the end, you know what makes it even more significant is that it's just the last game. It was like, if the Michigan game was week 1 and we lost, you know, they would probably look a little more favorably at us, and the path to the playoff would probably be a little bit easier. And, we wouldn't be in the Big Ten championship game, but the narrative then is at the end of the season. It's just like how it was during the BCS era. It's just the same kind of routine now. In the future, as Justin and Byron have both mentioned, but we all knew the playoff expands next year. So, like, Day might not get the opportunity for a second chance, but if he lost next year, then he, I would assume, would get into the 12-team playoff. And
I'll throw this at you then, because we're not going to always just get to the last game against Michigan being undefeated. This is college football. There are going to be times where we lose to random ass teams.
Yep.
We lose to Oregon next year. Okay. And then we play Michigan, lose to them again in the conference championship.
Whoa! I was just thinking next year he might have 2 times to lose to these motherfuckers.
And then if we lose another person, you think OSU is going to be in the top 12 with 3 losses?
No.
And that's what we're looking at right now. Because we're going to lose to listen, we're not just going to keep going undefeated to Michigan. It's going to happen where we lose to a random ass scrub team. And then play Michigan back-to-back weeks? Oh, come on, man.
Michigan would probably be getting buys and shit if it came down to a 1-loss OSU and they're undefeated at that point. And
the way they're going to do
game
the
with 2 losses
is like the Big 12 does, just round robin.
Top 2 seeds get it. But the thing is, like, it's hypothetically, which I just thought of. Like, if we lose to Michigan next year, we may not even get to the Big Ten championship because it's whoever the top 2 is. So with 2 losses, let's just say Oregon goes undefeated or Michigan goes undefeated, it would be Michigan and Oregon in the Big Ten championships.
Because then you're competing against the SEC spots. Because both the champ and the runner up in the SEC is going to be in the playoffs.
Bottom line, Ryan Day needs to start beating fucking Michigan.
Yes.
And I don't think this is the time to fire him now. Give him another year. Let him see if he can figure this shit out. And if they do end up losing to Oregon or they got a loss going to that game, then he fucking really needs to fucking win it then because that can rectify the season and keep this motherfucker employed. Well, keep him coaching because he'll still be getting paid now because these fucking coach buyouts are absolute horse shit. But
then
that's a different subject.
Now to transfer to Mitch's thing, we talk about who we're going to hire. 20, 30 years ago, even though podcasts weren't a thing, people were sitting here wondering who the hell they were going to hire after John Cooper. And they picked a coach from Youngstown State. And he changed the rivalry forever.
So I knew this question would get asked, and I've seen on Facebook, people would scream fire. Oh, you guys asked me last year, but then same thing narrative again. People were like fire Ryan Day, and then someone in the comments would be like, who would you replace? So
someone will get fired this year. I will guarantee that someone's getting fired.
I did look around. I actually tried to do some homework to try to find some people who could be a replacement. Some of these people, they were just quick names that I looked, and you might laugh at them.
Oh my God, Jimbo Fisher's going to be on this list.
No, actually, no.
Okay.
These are relatively. I don't want to say smaller name people, but they might just. I was thinking of Tressel whenever I was looking at these people, and you had mentioned the team earlier, Martin. So I'll just start off with who I might think might be the best candidate. You brought up Toledo, Jason Candle. So a little bit of rundown as to Candle's career. He actually was born in Ohio. He was born in Salem, Ohio. He played at Mountain Union as a player, won national titles with them, and then he also was a coach there whenever they also won their national titles, and he's doing extremely well right now with Toledo. They were in the MAC championship, I believe, this weekend, and it's. I mean, that just that sort of looks like kind of like how Trussell was, an Ohio guy, coach at Ohio teams, won national titles in Division I AA, and Jason Candle could be that guy.
It also is Urban Meyer. Like, people forget Urban Meyer didn't start at freaking Florida. He started at Bowling Green. That was his first head coaching job. Then he got the Utah job.
That's every damn coach. They all start in the mud.
Exactly. Yeah. So to go to Mitch's thing from a year ago, it's like if you're not going to get the superstar person, you get an up and comer.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Now, if you wanted to, this guy is not an Ohio guy, but I mean, Chris Kleeman. He's because I was looking at the Mountain Union people. Mountain Union got into that rivalry with North Dakota State, where it seemed like, or no,
Mountain Union is a Division III school now.
Correct, but I mean the success of Mountain Union. I mean, all they did was just win.
Yeah, they run that shit, but it's still D3.
But I was just trying to find some sort of connections there. But like North Dakota State, they would always be winning national titles, and Kansas State, KSU, they plucked Chris Kleinman from them, and I mean,
he's actually a good coach.
Well, yeah, KSU's ranked 25 right now.
Yeah, he's got KSU.
He took a scrubby Big 12 school and has him at least being respectable again. And not saying he'd leave to come to Ohio State. Obviously, I think anyone would, but people have loyalties, I guess. But I mean, but he has no Ohio background, so he'd have to learn quick, per se. But then
anyone else?
Yes, probably people that if I mentioned their name on here, probably be a nice little joke or a laugh. But basically, people in North Dakota State, like the current head coach, Matt Entz right now, but like they were already in the national title hunt, and they he led them to the championship in 2018. But it's like.
Yeah, I don't disagree with.
But Jason Candle's kind of like my favorite, like at this, like thinking of it at this stage. So
I don't disagree with any of those people. I mean, that's what some of the bigger schools are doing. Texas A&M ain't hiring no big name. They learn from that shit. They're getting someone who's not a splash.
I think that might be the fallacy that a lot of Ohio.
Man, fuck those niggas, man. They turn their noses at fucking goddamn Mark Stoops. I hope they don't win another game again.
Well, Mark Stoops is he's a good coach too.
Mm-hmm. Does Mark have Ohio ties? Did the Stoops family have Ohio ties? Not Ohio State, but I feel like they were born in Ohio.
Give me a second, I can tell you.
I'll look that up. But while you're looking that up, there's another portion. I did say I think. I do think someone's going to get fired. Someone's going to be a scapegoat. I think Corey Dennis is getting fired. For people who don't know, Corey Dennis, he's the current quarterbacks coach. His ass, I think he might get canned because someone's going for some. Because he might get canned because of the development of Kyle McCord. There was really no improvement. It was just consistent, but he never elevated. And I think he'll get canned. And also, the only reason he won't get canned, fun fact, Corey Dennis is Urban Meyer's son-in-law. He's been on this staff since Urban Meyer was the head coach. He is married to one of Urban's daughters. But I think he'll be the first one to go. I saw reports today, which this would be very fucking problematic, that Kentucky or Duke or whatever is potentially looking at our defensive coordinator as a head coach.
Tim Knowles?
And that would be problematic because
Kentucky about to fire Mark Stoops. They have some nerve too.
But they're going to see the work that Jim Knowles did at Ohio State. We were giving up all those points. And then, I mean, obviously, besides this game, they've been well. So that could be dangerous because then if we have to look for a new defensive coordinator again.
Yeah, that's not going to be good. But you are right, Mitch. Mark Stoops was born in Youngstown, Ohio.
Yep. I'm looking at the profile of Pop Stoops at the moment. But yeah, one of 6 children born and raised in Youngstown and graduated high school there. So it's like, I mean, there's a little bit of they understand.
Yeah.
Now, granted, Stoops here, Bob, he played at Iowa, so
yeah, he ain't coming back.
Play at Iowa, but a little Ohio background there.
So to go to the other portion of this thing, because obviously a lot of the things getting pointed at Ryan, but another point, Kyle McCord. This entire year, we've been pretty consistent with Kyle. We haven't been saying Kyle's the worst thing on ever, but we've also been realistic saying if you look at the past 25 years of OSU quarterbacks, you probably take a majority of them over Kyle McCord. He had 2 terrible. The first one, like Justin said earlier, you take that interception away, Ohio State wins the game. You cannot throw that. And then he had 2 picks. What Mitch said also, him saying just another game on the 11 Warriors thing, and a lot of players were really pissed. Joshua Perry, former OSU linebacker champion on the 14th, he said it best. He's tired of quarterbacks coming in here thinking it's just another game. The past 2 quarterbacks who have said that have not beaten Michigan. CJ Stroud said it was just another game, went 0-2. Kyle McCord said it was just another game. He won't beat Michigan. And then if you go back, I know obviously these people aren't NFL people, but JT Barrett, you watch him when it was Michigan week, Terrell Pryor, Troy Smith, all these guys know, to Mitch's thing, it is not another game. So is Kyle McCord starting next year? Because now this conversation is had now. Because if you can't beat Michigan with Marvin Harrison Jr., what the hell are you about to do next year?
Are we getting Manning?
No, I don't.
Okay. Well, that was
actually, I don't. Mitch, in all honesty, that if Quinn Ewers stays, Manning will leave.
Yeah. He'll only come to Ohio State if he gets the starting job. He won't sit a year behind McCord.
Oh, no.
First of all, Arch Manning ain't coming to Ohio State. That is a Southern. The Mannings are an SEC family. No way.
Hey, NIL money talks now. I would never say never. Literally a whole different thing. I never thought.
I wouldn't discount that Southern money either. You know they care about this shit a lot.
I know, but just to the question is, I've heard people on the radio say that the starting quarterback for OSU is now on this roster because people are like, oh, why didn't they bench Kyle? Because the backups ain't better than him either.
Nope.
That's Brown, the problem.
33, trash. Whoever, I'll have to look at recruiting, but if there's a 5-star coming in or some highly talented prospect, then he's definitely gonna be in the competition.
The one coming in that everyone thinks.
What's his name?
Air Noland.
Air Noland.
If I was him, I'd be scared because, like,
if you were Air,
because like if he commits, he comes in and whether or not like he starts or he sits behind McCord for like the year, like if Day loses to Michigan and he gets fired, it's like, is he going to actually keep his ass around or is he going to want to stay with the new coaching staff? I'd almost be like. I guess it's very easy just to hop in the transfer portal, whereas 5 years ago it's a little more of a tougher decision to determine what school you want to go to. Whereas now you can just update your Indeed resume and just go anywhere.
That's tough, man. Byron, what do you think? I know again we've been fair, Kyle, the whole year, but that final game and like Mitch said, those comments that is not it going into the game.
No.
Yeah. You can't say things like that in the biggest game of Ohio State every year. Like everyone looks forward to and proceed to throw 2 picks, one of them which ended the game. You can't do stuff like that. So I don't know if he starts next year. There definitely will be a quarterback competition in the offseason because we have Air Nolan coming in. And I think we actually have another 5-star coming in.
And first of all, this nigga's name is Air. A-I-R, Air. I thought y'all said Aaron.
No. Air.
I'm weak.
You can already see the shirts, can't you? Or the NIL.
Oh, that money.
Air it out.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Probably already has it trademarked. I would
don't let me watch his highlights. I might start sucking them off. Holy shit. got him out of Georgia, Alabama, one of them. This is gonna be Justin Fields 2.0. Hold on.
Hopefully.
So you want to know what next year is going to start looking like? It's going to look like whenever, Todd Beckman and Terrell Pryor were like that was the QB room for Ohio State back in 2007. You're going to have some.
The only reason I think Beckman State, he was even, because Beckman took us to a goddamn national championship the year before. We don't owe Kyle shit.
Oh, Beanie Wells did, man. Beanie Wells.
Come on. Todd Beckman was bombing that shit to Brian Rabitsky, man. Like
Beanie Wells was hurtling.
Oh, no, he was amazing.
One of it, Michigan defenders.
Dude,
like we were going to the national championship with Todd Beckman in the BCS era, where you can only lose one game maximum.
I'm trying to remember the LSU team on that. Was Glenn Dorsey on that team?
Yeah, their team was fucking hard.
Beanie Wells was freaking stiff arming like Glenn fucking Dorsey.
I would also, another thing that wasn't talked about enough too goes with coaching, because this coach is whoever the special teams coach is, his ass is getting fired.
Oh yeah,
that's probably the one who's going to get fired.
Sucks. The punting, terrible. I don't understand why you tried to go for a field goal where dude hasn't even hit a 50-yarder all year.
It was stupid. And I don't know what, and it was third fucking down on Ryan Day trying to get some more yards.
Yes.
Now that don't make no goddamn sense. That shit can get me going, because that was just dumb. That's some shit Josh fucking McDaniels would do. Like, ooh.
Damn.
I mean, that was just bad. I don't know what was going on with the punting. Like, it was, we never pinned him back. We never flipped the field. Nothing.
Their punter was better than our punter.
That's bad.
Ooh. I actually forget the answer to this question, so you guys know it. So Brian Hartline, does he call the plays? He's the offensive coordinator. He doesn't. So
Ryan Day does.
Ryan Day pass that off to him, or do you think Ryan Day should keep the offensive play calling for himself?
I'm gonna be honest.
I think he should pass it.
I don't think he's a coordinator. I think they only gave him that thing to give him more money because he's a wide receiver recruiter.
Yeah.
I'm just being honest.
The Brian Hartline.
Yeah, like he called 0 plays all year. He was just literally there just recruiting wide receivers and coaching them.
I don't think Ohio State's play calling is an issue. I thought some of the decisions, like the bigger ones that the head coach makes. Yeah, were an issue. Not like the actual plays he was running. Like I have an issue with that. Like I said, they outgained Michigan. They were moving the ball. They just weren't fucking scoring. And then defensively, when Michigan went into grinded out mode, they couldn't get a stop.
Yeah.
And like Urban Meyer is just one of my favorite quotes from him about most of the season. Ohio State simply just wins off talent. It is what it is. It just so does Michigan, so does all the other teams. But when you play a team that the talent is equal, it is all about who prepares and whose mindset. Michigan came in there. It's us against the world. Blah, blah, blah. Connor Stallions. Everyone thinks we cheated. That's the only reason we beat OSU. Now he's gone. Our coach ain't there. No one's believing us. Yada, yada, yada. And they came in there and won. Ohio State, if your quarterback is saying it's just another game and he's the leader of your team, that's not the mindset to have. And that's why we've lost 3 straight games. Because the talent's equal. And I don't even like saying the talent's equal, because beside Aiden Hutchinson, name a damn star currently from these past couple of years from the Michigan roster who's not contributing like Ohio State has. Garrett Wilson in there, CO2, all these players. Who besides Aiden Hutchinson is really doing it right now from who's beaten Ohio State the past couple of years?
Where's Taco at?
Blake Corum.
Blake Corum's not in the NFL.
Are you talking about in the NFL?
I'm talking about the people who have people who have left these past 3 years. Who has more talent right now contributing to the NFL? Ohio State, and we can't beat these fucking people.
I mean, it's true.
We're out recruiting them. We pay all this goddamn money, and then when it comes down to it, we get our asses whooped. That's the shit that pisses Ohio State fans off.
I mean, it's
CJ Stroud was about to maybe win fucking MVP if the damn team wins the AFC South. And we couldn't beat Michigan with the man.
He won't win the MVP.
If they win the AFC South?
Nope. I think Jalen Hurts might find a way to steal that shit.
It'd be about damn time, but they didn't give it to him last year.
Well,
the fact that we're saying CJ Stroud is a legitimate candidate as a rookie on Houston.
Yeah.
I mean, he's flipped that team. I mean, he's completely flipped that team.
I think they'll be going off too now.
You're not wrong.
Take down.
It's just the fact we have all of this talent and we can't. And that was also to Mitch's thing, because you brought up Ryan Day's the playoff.
Before you go on that, I feel like most of the talent that Michigan has is probably like right now. Like their seniors, like right now, they haven't left yet, except like Aiden Hutchinson. Who was the quarterback who won 2 years ago? Was it Cade McNamara? No way.
Well, JJ McCarthy is undefeated against Ohio State.
So 2-0.
I think it might have been Cade McNamara.
Yeah, it might have been Cade, who was coaching at Iowa, who calls because he lost the starting job to JJ, and he calls Michigan that other team. He's about to get his ass whooped against.
Wait, who started the game in 2021? Cade. Was it JJ McCarthy?
Because JJ started last year. Let me look it up.
Yeah,
Byron looked that up, but I'm going to continue on this thing. But it's just, it's ridiculous. That's what we're sitting here as Ohio State fans. Like, how do we have all these resources? We have nothing to show. The Ryan Day win against Clemson is probably one of the greatest wins of my lifetime because of how much we hate that damn school too, and the revenge factor from a year ago. But you got there because you beat no, because Michigan quit that year, the COVID year. But we have all this talent and zero natties to show for it.
We're in 6 years now.
Yeah, it was Cade McNamara. He went 13 for 19, 159 yards and an interception.
And we lost that game by 20 plus points.
Because their running back, Hassan Haskins, 28 carries, 169 yards, and 5 touchdowns.
And he's in the league. He's in the league somewhere.
Yeah. And then also, too, with the coaching staff. I mean, from reports, James Laurinaitis was the only person trying to get the people fired up in the locker room. None of the other coaches were doing shit. Obviously, he played in the rivalry. He knows what it's about. Mm-hmm. We talked about this past couple of years. The running backs. Who the fuck's the running back coach? Byron?
For
Michigan.
Give me a minute. I can tell you.
No, this is a layup.
Mike Hart.
Oh, yep. Mike Hart. Yeah.
Probably one of the best players in this rivalry we've seen. He understands it. And what have these running backs been doing to us?
Killing us.
Where we have players who played in this rivalry, coaching at other schools, fucking... You know who the quarterback coach for the Detroit Lions is?
I do not.
It's JT fucking Barrett.
Really?
He's on that staff. Mitch, your favorite quarterback? Kenny Guyton. He's about to be the damn offensive coordinator at Arkansas. He might be the head coach.
Kenny Guyton, man.
Whoa, he was the OC at Arkansas?
Yeah, Kenny Guyton's moving up.
Mm-hmm. They just replaced him with Bobby Petrino.
Oh, yeah. Well, hold on. What school was it? Because they were talking about, and that's embarrassing for Bobby.
If he was coaching Arkansas's offense, he needs to be fired because that shit was terrible.
Let me look him up.
Yeah, he was an Arkansas interim. Well, he was an Arkansas interim OC.
Interim OC, yeah, because the original one got fired. But he's still on the damn staff. If he was here in the rivalry, come on now. Any of these former players, it's just, what are we doing?
That's a little weird that Ohio State's not employing some of the former players that are around coaching. That is a little weird.
I know the only two that we have is Brian Harline and James Laurinaitis.
Who were both Tressel people.
Yeah, and
James, we just got back from Notre Dame because he was on the Notre Dame staff.
He was?
I think Ryan Day needs to just have a talk with his mentor, Urban Meyer, and see what the fuck that he was doing to instill him like the bigness of this game, like the gravitas.
He says it every year. It's a way of fucking life here.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he needs to take the offseason, fuck recruiting. Just go sit with Urban. Let that man mentor him.
Sign him to do what the NBA does. Sign him to a 10-year or a 10-day
consulting role.
Yeah, just right that week before, sign his ass 10 days. shit, if you want to make him head coach for that 1 week, just pass off the duties. Go sit on the couch like John does. I mean, just let Urban handle it. Make him an intern coach for 5 minutes, and then.
And we talked about earlier about like the hot seat with the fans and all that and stuff, but the players, I mean, one of the biggest ones you want to talk about, Trestle boy, Maurice Clarett, when he said this tweet, a lot of people were feeling like, Ryan, I love you, bro, but
that was
you gotta go. You don't get paid $9 million a year to win one game and you keep losing.
Yep.
That resonates with people. That's Maurice fucking Clarett. We won a title with that man as a freshman.
Mm-hmm.
And he ain't the only player feeling like that. So, and we're probably going to give this man an extension by the end of this year, too, which is going to be funny. But
well, last time a head coach in this rivalry got an extension, shit turned around. So maybe that's all we need. Maybe he just needs a little bit of extra money. Maybe that's
Harbaugh went 0-5 before.
He went 0-5, and you're right. They were patient.
Crazy.
They were patient. He was going against Meyer, but to his credit, he had to flip the garbage of Brady Hoke and Rich Rod's garbage. He was able to flip that around 2000, and he flipped that quick because in 2016, if it wasn't for that fucking fourth down on JT Barrett and the Curtis Samuel walk-off, they go to the playoffs.
Yeah, he had to rebuild. He had to actually rebuild the fucking program. Ryan Day was handed Urban Meyer's machine, no doubt about that.
And that's what Mitch said last year that he was pissed about.
Yeah, he as the saying goes, Ryan Day was born on third base
and acted like he hit a triple.
That he acted like he hit a triple. And
I mean these current recruits, these are some of the best fucking college players I've ever seen. But we can't win the big game. And it even came down to it these past couple of years now, which it's wild to say because we were just talking about him a couple of weeks ago. What the fuck is the difference between Ryan Day and James Franklin?
Yep.
Well, as Byron would say,
beats Penn State.
Ryan Day wins one more game than him, and that's against him. That in the past couple of years, you take away that playoff in 19, what the fuck's the difference?
At this point, you're not wrong, but we have a lot smaller sample size with fucking with Ryan Day, we do James Franklin. We gotta give him some time. I mean, not give him some time. We gotta give him another year before we're really on his ass.
Year 7.
It's year 7. It's his record, but you can't fire him now with this.
No, they won't fire him now because of the new coordinator. I mean, the new AD. If there was not a new playoff AD system, I think it'd be 50-50.
I mean, it's just the whole landscape of college football is about to change with this new playoff.
It is. Mm-hmm.
So they, like I said, Ohio State might fuck around and lose to Oregon. We don't know what these teams are about to look like. College football, it's a whole new roster damn near every single year. So we don't know what these teams are going to look like. Ohio State can come to that game with 2 losses and play spoiler, for all we know. And that might be a better role for them at this point. It might be less pressure on Ryan Day if it's not, I gotta win this shit to go the Big Ten title type of thing.
But still now you're not the measuring stick. You might get to fucking Michigan with 2 losses, and then it don't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then if you lose that game, you got all the clarity you need. That motherfucker gotta go.
Because next year the game's in Columbus. Yeah. It ain't gonna be it if he loses again in Columbus, bro. It ain't gonna be it.
Yeah, he'll have to shove himself in a bag and get on that bus with Michigan and just leave for his own safety.
Not in Columbus. Two times in Columbus when the other 2 previous coaches combined only lost once, and that's because Clarett wanted to go to the NFL. Clarett was playing in 2003. OSU beats Michigan. So
Michigan was on hard times back then. I mean, Michigan's a sleeping giant
they've ever had back with Lloyd Carr.
I mean, but
they had their best teams. You're telling me the 2016 is not one of the best Michigan teams ever?
2006? Oh, of course.
Lloyd Carr won a national title. Harbaugh hasn't won a national title.
Lloyd Carr won a natty?
Yes.
Oh, what, 97?
I think 97, yeah.
It definitely wasn't in the 2000s.
Yeah, but he still was he's the second best coach ever. We were playing against that person.
Yeah, 97.
Yeah.
And we're talking about from a coach from Youngstown came and beat them his first year.
I'm just saying, most of those times Michigan was fucking dog shit. They were dog shit, and they have been down, especially after Lloyd Carr left.
Oh, after he left,
especially after Lloyd Carr left. That's how I would say it was really getting fat. The game was not fucking competitive at all.
Yeah, but then what happened? As soon as Tressel left, what happened? OSU lost.
Hey, Brady Hope did get one.
Yeah, as soon as Tressel left, and then what happened? They got a coach who understood the shit again. Urban won it all again. Then what happened? They got a coach who didn't understand it. Ryan, we've lost 3 straight.
Well, Brady Hoke got it the year that Fickle was the intern coach.
Yep, the year Tressel was gone. Yep, and then Urban came in.
Rich Rod sucked, and then Urban came, which I want to give just a little history fact here. This year, or today, 12 years ago, was the announcement that Urban Meyer was going to be the head coach of Ohio State. So saw that on Time Hop. But anyway.
And to go back to Mitch's thing, to go back to a year ago, what you talked about, you say that hindsight. When Michigan hired Rich Rod, that was a splash hire. He was the hottest coach in the game.
Yeah.
So he just came from West Virginia.
Right? Yeah, West Virginia, the most exciting fucking football team outside of Reggie Bush and USC and Vince Young during that entire decade.
He was the hottest coach, but it didn't work out.
You know what? None of that shit worked. Their spread did not work. And then, I guess you're right. They didn't start winning again, so they went back to hardball, tough football. Shit, maybe Ohio State needs to hire Mark Stoops, because I know for a goddamn fact you ain't gonna have the quarterback talent that Mark Stoops is your coach. It's gonna look like some goddamn Trussell ball if that guy's coaching the team.
Well, I mean, if that can get us to 3 national titles and win us 1, I'd be fine with that. Because now we haven't won a title since 2014. It's about to be 10 years.
Yeah,
and we ain't winning this year, so that's out.
How long was the drought before they won in 2002?
Oh, bro, it was like almost 30 years.
34 years.
34 years.
1968 was the last time in which Woody had won the national title at probably the Rose Bowl. Now, granted, 1970 we won the AP, but we didn't win the bowl game for the national title.
Yeah, in Tressel's second year, he beat the greatest college football team of all time.
Yes, he did. Remember it.
Miami Hurricanes. Yeah.
And they haven't been the same fucking since.
Yeah.
Urban the first time the playoffs were open, Urban's 4th seed comes out and wins the title.
Yep. Beats up Nick Saban. Now Nick Saban bounced back real good.
Yeah, obviously. But yeah, Brian needs to get a title. Like I mean, he says it. Win every game, win the rivalry game, win the Big Ten, compete for a title. And we haven't really competed for a title because we can't win the fucking Big Ten.
Yeah. We should have beat Georgia last year.
We should have
made the kick.
We should have. The bad thing is we let them in the game because we forgot our defense's ass.
The defense was so good during the year. At least he fixed the fucking problems leading up to it. Because last year the defense fucking sucked all last year.
Yes,
you had to win shootouts, and I guess that's the product of having CJ. I guess we didn't appreciate how fucking good CJ was. The fact that they had literally no defense.
Because it was 0-2 against Michigan.
Yeah, because it was 0-2 in Michigan, but he was still winning games. Look at fucking LSU right now. That offense can score at fucking anyone, but the defense can't stop a fucking nosebleed. And they got 3 losses right now.
Why is it that always seems to be the case? Why is it that like one year we have a stellar offense and a horrible defense, and then the next year the script is completely flipped? Why can we not be like, I don't know, Alabama or Georgia and just have 2 absolutely stellar like units out there? I
would say, I mean, Alabama's one besides now recently because they've been on fire, but the Merrill thing wasn't all that great till he benched. That's the shit like Nick Saban does. I know, Mitch, we talked about this during the Georgia title game. He benched Jalen Hurts for a freshman.
That man has no fear.
No fear. He's like, if you're playing like ass, you're out. The only thing, too, to the firing of Ryan, which, again, it's not going to happen this year, and I hate bringing this team up because, God, I hate this team, too. But Georgia was significantly patient with Kirby Smart because he was losing big games just like Ryan has. And then he finally broke through, and now they're about to three-peat probably. But Georgia was. I mean, they fired Mark Richt, who was going 10-2, but they're like, hey man, you can't beat Urban Meyer. Your ass is out.
They gave him a while though.
They gave him a while, but
they gave him some time.
This fan base, I know, just you talked about the South, but this is all this city fucking has, man.
Yeah.
Sports wise, absolutely.
Like this
cannot disagree with that.
This is as the commercial says, it's the economic engine of the whole state. This place gets bars popping, like it causes money flowing when they're all this city has, man.
That is true. Shit. OSU football might be more to people in Ohio than any SEC team means to anyone down there. I would argue that. I definitely would. Even though some of those towns are butt-fuck towns. They really don't have nothing. But what? Oxford, Mississippi. Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Come on now. what are we doing here?
That's all they
Tuscaloosa, Gainesville, Florida, Tallahassee. Well, Florida State, like... Shit, Clemson, South, they don't got shit.
And Clemson was ass water this year.
8-4.
I mean, but fucking Dabo has won like 10 straight games every year before that.
I know, but people are talking. You heard him. You put the bid in our one episode. The sky was falling for them.
Yeah, for a little bit.
But, oh, man. So, to end the pod, 2 things. One, when the weekend is over, we're just going to do 4. Who are going to be the 4 teams in the playoff? Because we will know by Sunday by 3:00.
I guess who's playing again. Give me 1 second.
I said Georgia. Georgia winning, so they in.
Yep.
Michigan winning, they in.
Yep. That's 2 spots.
That's 1, 2. Oregon. I got Oregon winning.
They'll be in.
So they get in, and I don't think Texas is going to slip up. Texas is 4. There we go.
Did you pick Florida State to win?
I didn't. No.
So you
picked Louisville to win.
Oh, you picked okay.
And even if Florida State does win, I still think they're going to find a way to put Texas in.
Okay.
If Texas wins.
Mitch, who do you think are going to be the 4 teams in the playoffs when this weekend's over? Well, you already picked Georgia and Michigan, so that's 2 spots. And you picked Washington, so that's 3 spots.
Hold on. I didn't pick Georgia.
Oh, you picked Alabama. Oh.
Yeah, because I was sticking to my parlay.
Oh, well, if Alabama wins, then
chaos.
Well, so yeah, if
that's a decision right there.
Doesn't go all the way back to the beginning of the pod to try to make sure my picks here match. But yeah, it's
you had
Alabama, Oregon, Michigan, and Florida State.
Okay.
Now,
Georgia would fucking riot.
No way.
But then if they get in, the rest of the college football world would riot.
Good. It'll be their last year to fucking do it because we go into 12 next year. I want that to happen. I want complete chaos. I want Louisville to win. I want Alabama to win. I want Oklahoma State to win. Just to fuck everything up. Who's going to get in then? And keep Ohio State's asses out of it. They need to fucking go.
Yeah, that's
they need to go to the Cotton Bowl and learn pain.
I agree. And I almost agree that Ryan needs to silence all his devices and just go on a round robin trip and talk to like Tress and Urban about what this shit really means. Like, bro, you can't be doing this.
Exactly. That's what you need to do because he has to get this shit figured out. He has to.
Yeah, I don't.
He's just too good in every other game to not. Like, come on, you can't go outside like this.
And you want to talk about. You talked about like the Lloyd Carr and all that stuff. Ryan Day's been playing the shitty Big Ten. Urban and Tress, they had to when Michigan State was good, when Penn State Joe Paul was good.
The whole west side of the Big Ten, not including the new additions, is complete dog shit. They suck.
But that's why they were good. They were.
That's why Iowa wins 10 games a year now. They just eat up on those trash cans.
That Big Ten West, all they do is go out there with Brock Purdy and fucking like harvest corn. That's all they do.
Byron, who do you have in the 4?
Of course, Georgia and Michigan. I picked Washington, so they're going to be my 3 spot. My 4 spot? Probably FSU.
I have Georgia, Michigan, Oregon. Is an undefeated Florida State really going to get left? Oh my God, the world would go to shit. But Texas probably going to get in.
So Ohio State's best chance to get in would be Georgia to win. I'm not even going to entertain the idea that Iowa's going to beat Michigan. So Georgia would have to win.
Because you need Texas and Florida State to lose. That'll open it up. Texas and Florida State lose. Now opens it up.
Both. Not even one. Both.
Yeah, it has to be both.
Yeah, and I didn't want to entertain this shit last year because the fans were like, oh no, we could potentially get in. For fucking what? If we can't beat Michigan, you think we can beat? No. We don't have CJ Stroud. We're not beating fucking Georgia.
Justin, I'll add to that yes, Texas and Florida State have to win, but Georgia has to win too, because if Alabama beats Georgia,
they'll both be in.
Well, I don't want to dive into that one because I'm not confident with that, but I am.
I only said Texas and Florida State, right?
Yeah.
But Georgia, without a doubt, would still be in front of Ohio State.
My only reason, Mitch, I would say that is just because history has shown us if the SEC runner-up has one loss, they usually get into the damn playoff, and that's been at our expense a couple of years in this.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's why I just think that Georgia, they would be at 5. They would either be at 4 or 5, which is still in front of OSU. So
yeah, because they won't drop 6. Them underneath OSU.
There's no way.
Hell no.
Unless Georgia got killed. Georgia would have to get murdered, because then at least Ohio State could be like, we lost a 1-score game against probably the
Big 10 champ.
The Big 10 champ. Michigan might be number 1 if, Georgia were to lose. Like, you know what I mean? But at least a number 2. So that would be Ohio State's argument. Like, Georgia would have to get slaughtered, and that's not happening.
Which won't happen. And I 100% agree with Justin. Ryan Day needs to go on a pain tour.
Yes, he needs to go to the Cotton Bowl, and shit, he should probably lose the Cotton Bowl for all I care. Lose, then you're really going. Then you're really going to have to figure some shit out. He needs to bottom out. He really needs to feel some pain. If fucking losing to Michigan ain't enough, then lose to fucking Louisville or something in the fucking New Year's Six Bowl, and then really start to feel it. Oh hell no!
It showed when we played Utah, and Utah was literally busting our ass. If we didn't have Marvin Harrison, we lose that game. That showed Brian Day like, damn, our defense really is bad.
Utah is in the same ilk as fucking any tough team. That's Uncle Kyle right there. You can't fuck around with them. You can't fuck around the Utah Utes. They look at was in Salt Lake.
Yeah, I agree. He needs to go on a pain tour. Like he needs to shut the shit off. He don't even have to go out there and recruit. All his people could do it for him.
Yeah, like you need to figure out what the fuck you gonna do a year from now in this game. That is what that man needs to be focused on, because this shit's getting unacceptable at this point. I'm getting sick of fucking defending him.
Justin, when you said he needed to go on paint tour, I know this isn't exactly like that, but I just thought of like Cliff, like Kingsbury. It's just like he just needs to go to like Vietnam and just sit there for like
that boy Cliff Kingsbury. I heard he coming back to the game. I saw a report.
I saw that too.
But I don't give a fuck about him. He ain't Ryan Day, so I'm just saying, like, I just 100% agree with Justin. That man, he needs to not be doing, because what the fuck you about to start telling donors? You telling us normal people to donate to the NIL when you can't beat Michigan?
Well,
nah, man.
Well,
Colin McCord might have to go on this pain tour too, Justin, because he might lose his job.
I got fucking bills to pay.
Oh, they're definitely bringing in a transfer. My nigga Air over here. My nigga Air Nolan. I can't wait. But oh yeah, I mean, I know. Riley Leonard if he don't go to FR, he might go to Notre Dame. So Ohio State can swoop him up, get some talent up in there, a little more talented quarterback. We'll see. But yeah, Colin McCord's job is definitely not. It's not in hand next year. He's definitely not the start. He's definitely not. You can't pencil in Colin McCord as starting quarterback for the 2024 Ohio State Buckeye football.
Notre Dame has a head coach who understands the rivalry.
Yes, he does. Yes, they do.
Played in him, so
yeah.
All right. Well, with that being said,
not about brother Marcus.
Oh yeah. With that being said, thank you everyone for listening to the game recap. I know the people in Ohio, you're feeling a whole bunch of feelings as we are. I know there's a lot of people, and I know there's a lot of people in this state who are upset, want Ryan gone, and we're not mad at you. It's just this ain't the time right now. If they lose the game in Columbus, if you lose the game in Columbus, I don't know if we'll make it past Sunday.
I think you'll get fired same day.
Depending on where we're at standings wise.
Who was it? Who was it? Oh, who got fired on the field? Right after the game.
Lane Kiffin.
Lane Kiffin.
No, it wasn't Lane Kiffin.
It happened to him too.
Herm Edwards.
Oh yeah, Herm Edwards. Yeah.
Herm Edwards got to the end zone as he was walking to the locker room, and they fired his ass. Like, was that this year?
No, I think he was a couple years ago.
He was a couple years ago.
Yeah,
but we got to figure it out. Like Justin said, Ryan needs to figure it out. Losing to Michigan is already unacceptable. Losing to Michigan when it denies you of Heisman's and national championship opportunities and Big Ten opportunity championship, that is truly unacceptable. We got to figure it out, man. I know the national media is saying, "Oh, he's 56-7, blah blah blah," which is true. But the fact that those games we're losing the big games, that ain't it. And we can't get a big game unless we win the game, which is also the problem. So, Ryan Day, if you ever listen to this, the last couple of minutes, what Justin said, go on a tour, man. Go on a pain tour, soul search, and get it done. With that being said,
go for it every time on fourth down. Every time.
That being said,
not
the
every
most
time.
aggressive game you ever got next year.
We'll need a Brandon Staley situation now.
That being said, L7C Podcast signing out.
Finish it off, please.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the L7C Podcast. Be sure to like, rate, review, and subscribe to the channel. Follow us on all social media platforms, and we'll be talking to you guys soon. Take care.